Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I wanted to give an energy update. And yes, I've been away for a while, but I just haven't felt very inspired. And I've always said that if I was going to bring out any videos, it has to be with a message that I find worth sharing, and there's no point really just talking or bringing out anything for the sake of it, for the sake of meeting some sort of monetary quotas or whatever. Excuse me. I find it very important to be true to what it is that we are here for. And for me, it's always been to bring out a message that I feel good about and find worthwhile sharing. And I must say, I've been doing a few more coaching calls than normal with people rather than just the intuitive spiritual readings, reading into the energies of people and situations and things like that. They've actually been more into getting better at developing their own gifts and their own ability to manifest and create the life that they're wanting through these coaching calls, which I am very happy to do. And I find it myself very motivating. So thank you for those who have booked in coaching calls with me, as I now also feel more motivated to look at my own life and see things from a fresh perspective, which is definitely needed at this time. And through these coaching calls, people have really started to look at themselves. How can they manifest the life that they're wanting rather than just letting things happen? And really improving, their spiritual and physical day to day, which is truly amazing. And I'm so happy that you're entrusting me to help you with that. And one of the patterns I've noticed from these calls, as well as the regular readings, are that people have been going through quite a low vibrational time. People waking up feeling unmotivated, down, sad, often even depressed, which I've noticed within myself too. And I feel this is because it's so widespread. It's like a collective energy. I do feel this also to do with the planetary activity, as well as what's happening on the planet. Also, I don't know what it's like where you are living at the moment, but certainly here in the UK, it's just been raining ever since bank holiday weekend, which was a start of May. So it's been raining for practically the whole month of May, which has not been great for feeling uplifted and motivated. But I wouldn't solely contribute people feeling down just to it raining. But I feel people are just ready for a rebirth, And it's always darkest before the light comes back in. And this is something we have to remember, that we're not necessarily stuck here forever. We're only stuck if we want to be stuck. We're only stagnant if we want things not to change. But if we actively seek help from the divine and the universe and create change within ourselves, then we are going to be creating change in our external world. And often we find it utterly frustrating to not see these results straight away, or perhaps even for months or even years. But things are never fully stuck, particularly on this journey of twin flames. Even though you may not be physically reunited with your person yet, you are changing and they are changing. You may not know that, especially if you don't have the ability to communicate, if they've stopped talking to you for any reason. And for me, I definitely know that I've changed a lot. Even this time last year, um, I've definitely changed, And looking back at my journals and diaries that I've kept, I am not that person anymore, even from when I first started this channel. And a lot of my messages I still believe in and I still stand by, but some of my viewpoints and feelings have evolved. Maybe not completely dismissing what I've said before, but certainly elaborating and expanding on what I've believed when I first started this channel. Because when I first started this channel, it was all kind of focused on my person. How can I bring us together? But now it's no longer so much focused on my person. Yes, I am still grateful that I've met him and still very happy for the gifts that he's brought forward within me, but I'm more so focused on myself. And that is ultimately what this is all is. It's a journey of the self, but you have it reflected in another person who you feel in your heart is your twin flame. But ultimately, it is about us. And this is what I try to tell my clients as well, because when they're so focused on the other person, they dismiss their own growth. And that is a shame, because time is precious. And the time that we can put into our growth is very valuable and should definitely be taken advantage of as much as possible. And sometimes it takes years for us, maybe, well, not for everyone, obviously, but for some people, it can take years to even see that, to see it is not about them, it's about me. And until you understand that, it is going to be hard and lonely, and it's going to be a struggle to be on this journey, to see it from that perspective. But if you already understand, we are one. You and them are not separate. You and them can connect on a spiritual level. Yes, you want this physically, so do I, obviously. But you have to grasp the simple first rule of this whole thing is you are already one. It's not like you have to strive to be one. Yeah, you may not be physically together, and that really is a pain in the backside. I totally understand that. And I've definitely been there, and I'm still going through it at times, But if you can just grasp, you are not actually apart, and you are much more telepathically in tune than you can physically comprehend with your logical mind, then it's not so difficult anymore. And you can actually feel relief in setting them aside for now and focusing on you. What can you do to make your world the best? And them joining you is just a cherry on top. And I know if you're not ready to hear this, it's going to sound completely horrible and you might click off and whatever, but at some point you may understand, and I hope you do. It's about you. Bring it back to you. And another thing I wanted to touch on regarding this energy update and evidence that things have changed. I was going through my journals, and even from a few years ago when I was trying to manifest something new for myself in my life, I realize now, reading what I wrote, I had things completely wrong about my passion. I was writing answers to questions like, if I could do anything right now, what would I do? If I could be with anyone right now, what would I be and what would we talk about? Things like that. And I tried to make my answers fit into what I thought I should be, not who I truly am. And that's really sad. And I realize that now. And I will redo those exercises. I will redo that diary. And I will answer honestly this time. There is no shame in who I really am. I thought I had to invest in these great projects, and I don't know, make myself sound grand and, I guess bigger than what I wanted to be. But there is nothing wrong in just wanting to be, I'm just saying for me, a songwriter, to bring joy through music. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to be someone who invests in properties and all this, what I consider more, I guess, impressive. It doesn't impress me. And this is what I have to remember, and this is what I've now come to remember. This journey is about coming back home to you. What gives you joy? Who do you feel best being? We all have our own talents and passions and sparks within us. No two people are truly ever the same. And this is something we have to embrace, not to try and fit who you think would like to hear this. It's like with me, I used to make such a big deal of my in-laws accepting me. I don't know why the heck I would even doubt that. I'm an amazing person. They would be lucky to have me, is what I'm thinking now. But back in the day, I would just think, oh my goodness, I need to really fit myself in with this image of a successful person. That's why I went on to take that psychology degree, because I thought, if I am more scientific, they're going to respect my spiritual business. But really, it's nonsense. It didn't bring me joy. Unfortunately, I had to learn that after years of study. If I were to write a thesis in my third year on the type of material that they presented to me, it would not have brought me joy. I would have been utterly miserable, and I can't afford another year of depression. I'm sorry, my life is too precious, and I just refuse to do that. I'll find a different way of achieving what I want. And in all honesty, my business is already something I should be proud of, and I don't understand why. Well, I kind of do, but it's still now it just looks so silly that I was trying to fit myself into a mold that I thought someone else would have appreciated more, or thought was more important or more of an achievement. I should already be proud of what I have, and I hope that you listening to this message can understand that for yourself. And if it resonates, hopefully you can apply that to something in your life. Don't ever try to change yourself just because you think it's going to sound better to someone else. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I've got a psychology degree. Who cares? And also what I come to realize was, well, what am I doing this for? I already have a degree. It's not like I need another one. It's not making me happy. It's actually making me miserable. There's absolutely no point in wasting life, I've realized, especially during this time, just, being locked up in the house pretty much for a whole year. Life is too precious. Don't do things that you think are good or sound good to others, but don't ignite your passion. There's no point doing like those kinds of things anymore. And I don't need to change myself. And if my in-laws don't think that this business is good, then, well, that's their problem. But of course, I don't believe that, because this business is good, and I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Even if I didn't have this business, even if I was just still working in finance 24/7, of course not that, but you know what I mean, like as a full-time job, that in itself is good enough. Even if I was working in Tesco's across the road, it doesn't matter. I am good enough as I am. You are good enough as you are. It doesn't matter. You don't have to try and attain these crazy qualifications or job opportunities if it doesn't spark your passion. If you feel great about it, then awesome, go for it. But if it doesn't, don't try to make yourself fit in just for the sake of impressing someone else, because you are going to be left feeling empty, depleted, exhausted, and disappointed. And that's how I felt. Had to learn the hard way. There we are. I feel everything has a reason and a purpose. And it may not be 100% clear to me right now what it was for me. But someday I might understand. And it's completely fine at the moment. Also, if you are feeling depressed or down, don't be hard on yourself. I know as light workers and twin flames, we might feel like we owe it to the world to always feel happy, to always be upbeat. Don't. Because at the end of the day, you're still human. You may be more aware of your spirit, your soul, and what you want to bring to this world. But if you are going to go through a period of difficulty where you are feeling extra sad or down, allow yourself to go through the healing process. Because if you feel like you owe the world happiness and you just want to shove this aside and just be happy right now, and you don't deal with whatever is causing you this pain, it's not helpful to you or the world in the end, because you are just shoving it under the carpet. If you keep doing that as well, eventually your pile of things that you haven't looked at is going to get overwhelmingly high. It's going to keep piling up until one day it'll be even more painful, even more difficult, and you will have to face it sooner or later. And don't make it unbearable for yourself. What I'm trying to say is, if you are going to be feeling down, feel down. Feel the emotions, but don't dwell. Have a viewpoint of moving forward in it, but don't ignore it. That's my advice to you, based off of what my clients and myself have been going through. And be gentle on yourself. I know I tend to be quite harsh on myself at times, thinking you shouldn't feel this, you shouldn't feel that. But, who am I to dictate what I should and shouldn't feel? Sometimes you just have to feel whatever you're going to feel, and that's fine. But also, I feel that this time now is a time to reignite our passions. Not someone else's passions, not what the world thinks you should be doing. What do you want to do? And be honest with yourself. And I feel for me, the answers lie in my childhood dreams of what I wanted for myself. Unfortunately, my parents discouraged me, saying, oh, art and music is never going to be giving you anything. It's not going to be financially viable. You're going to end up broke. You're not going to have any money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so they heavily discouraged me from that path, which is rather sad, to be honest. So for me, I'm going to go back to the things that give me joy, going back to drawing, painting, writing music, singing, even writing stories or poems or whatever I want to write, I will do. And from your joy will spark opportunities. We're actually living in the best time for this. Before, it was quite hard. You'd have to find a publicist or a record company. For me particularly, I'm giving these examples. You have to find other people to try and support you financially, or help release your art to the world. Whereas now you can just do that. I don't need a record company. If I want to record something, I'll just do it from home and I'll just stick it on the internet. Same with book publishing. You can just do them through Amazon these days. You don't have to have a publishing company. It's rather liberating if you think about it. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you can have, or opportunities you do have, especially compared to years ago where there was there wasn't any of this. So it was very, very tricky. Gosh, I remember having to, I even had this little book back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they had all these record companies listed, all these A&R companies, and how to approach them and all this kind of nonsense. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that now I could just do what I'm passionate about, have nobody tell me, oh, this isn't what we're looking for, you're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to sell. I think that's, it's liberating to know now that you could just do this on your own. And so I'm going to go back and do those exercises with a viewpoint of coming back to who I am, bringing back the real me, not the me who's trying to impress other people, who cares about other people. If I'm not passionate and happy about what I want to do, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. it holds zero value. So I hope this helped. If you would like to connect with me, all my details are in the description. I've also posted the May offers on my community page here on YouTube. Thank you also very much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.